Hello my friends, so glad you're back here again. I'm loving the comments you guys post under the videos and I love engaging with you. So it's always a pleasure to read those, keep them coming. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe as well because only like 1% of my watchers are subscribed and actually following my videos. And it would mean a lot because yeah, I just like talking about certain like topics, philosophies, opinions and worldviews, and I want to get your input as well so that we can like get smarter and more wise together, wiser. Yeah. Okay, guys, today I want to talk about a topic that has been milked probably by every guru or philosopher or thinker of like basically forever, like since the dawn of time, and it's about happiness. I know, but I promise if you stay till the end, you will definitely get some practical tips and insights into this whole topic because I've gathered like from sources all over the world different perspectives and cultures and professors and doctors, whatever, and at different stages of their life and what they think about happiness and how they have achieved it. And it helped me so much throughout my daily mental state, basically, to wake up in a more energetic way, to have another worldview, basically. And I want to get your input, of course. What are you doing on a daily basis that has helped you the most, basically? I'm curious to know. So yeah, let's dive right in and enjoy. Happiness is in general a very complex and multifaceted concept that is shaped by countless factors such as culture, emotions, personal values, and also individual experiences. So this video will go in depth into the different aspects of happiness, including how various cultures perceive and approach happiness, the role of emotions, and the importance of self-awareness, meaningful relationships, and personal growth. Cultural differences occur because, well, of our understanding of vocabulary and language in general, and how you grew up, how you were raised, of course, but then also how you communicate these feelings, and if it's like more accepted societally to be sad publicly, or if it's like, oh, what's wrong with this person? Can they not bother me with their problems, please? And yeah, I think that's also like, you see it extremely well, I think, in working cultures such as Japan and South Korea, where they are like ripping 100-hour work weeks, basically. And yeah, then people sleep on the streets, and it's like a habit, basically, or like a common knowledge that you should like place water for them because they have probably had a rough day and went partying afterwards to make connections again and stuff. And yeah, these people tend to be more isolated, of course, because of their immense workload, and that brings another aspect of or like lets some dominoes simply fall that you can't really stop anymore. So to lay the foundation, happiness can be categorized into three primary types, which is hedonism, which is sensory pleasure, basically, in simple terms. It's meaning, which is derived from mastering tasks. And there's psychological stimulation, which comes from discovering new things and stimulating the brain thereby. It is essential to recognize that cultural differences impact how individuals define happiness and the values they assign to it. In Eastern Asian countries, like Japan and Russia, it's more acceptable to acknowledge and discuss sadness. People from these cultures often maintain good health despite experiencing sadness, which contrasts with the Western approach of avoiding sadness and its potential negative impact on health. The fear of negative emotions can be more detrimental than the emotions themselves. Instead, embracing these emotions can make one stronger. And when one feels like crying, well, listening to a sad song and making yourself cry is probably a good thing because it relieves stress and tension. However, it's crucial to differentiate between normal sadness and depression, which requires serious attention, of course, and also intervention in some cases. About the intervention part we can talk another time, but yeah, nonetheless, you shouldn't like take it lightheartedly. It is essential to determine whether one is experiencing depression or simply going through a rough phase in their life, which can be addressed by adopting certain different perspectives and maybe like changing your daily activities. I don't know how you wake up or how how you structure your day, forging strong connections with others, and simply exploring new experiences, because somehow you got stuck in routines that weren't making you fulfilled. So you should start slowly to simply reorganize your day to make it easier to fall into good things rather than bad ones. Humans are generally pretty poor at predicting what will make them happy. For example, people tend to remember the negative aspects of a trip or departure more vividly than the positive experiences that made up basically 90% of that vacation or that journey. And there are fundamental emotions that are triggered by sudden situations to ensure our survival, our health, and our well being. And these emotions originate subconsciously in the limbic system. There are 2 positive emotions, which is happiness and interest, and 4 negative ones: fear, anger, sadness, and disgust. Negative emotions take up more space in the brain because they are more critical for our survival, at least back in the day. Anger can be a pretty double-edged sword because it can produce a sense of euphoria when it is released, especially in a focused and shared manner with other people. But it can also tear you down, So experiencing these emotions regularly is entirely normal. However, it is essential to view them as neutral, and as all feelings, they only serve as a compass, basically, to navigate you through life and to signal something is, not working properly, or is wrong, or should approach it differently, or hey, this is feeling good, maybe I should do more of it. But then again, probably drinking beer and laying on the couch watching Netflix feels good, but there has to be a rational side that has to be activated. I will come to this later as well. Achieving a healthy balance between work and leisure is crucial for happiness. Entering a flow state, for example, or monk mode, how people describe it nowadays, especially influencers and gurus, where productivity feels effortless and satisfying. It's essential for a fulfilling life to get more of these flow states. A study examining the happiness levels of individuals who deeply engage with the subject found that 43% of wandering thoughts were positive, while 26% were negative. Yet, the most endorphins were released when focusing on the task at hand. This task could be a phone call or scrolling through social media even, but setting boundaries while working on a problem is vital. Meditation is something else that can help you achieve this flow state. I think I don't know if you can perfect it, but you can at least practice it. And if you do it often, regularly, I think meditation and mindfulness in general, these are superpowers. Okay, it's so undervalued because little people actually do it, and most of society thinks it's some sort of pseudo science or something. I'm not sure, esoteric stuff, but hey, it's at the core of us, it's what's actually making us better in every aspect, I think. So the state of meditation, along with connection and playfulness, is essential for happiness. Endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, these are often released and can be attained through gratitude, exercise, and mindfulness. So asking oneself, what am I envious of, can help identify what you generally desire. People often assume that if you are successful in your career, you will also be happy. But 80% of millennials say they want to be rich, 50% want to be famous. And this, however, is dependent on numerous factors that also include luck, and a lot of luck in some cases. So success in their career looks different from person to person, of course. Some people define it with money and wealth and investing. Others define it with impact on a human level, So that's again a very complex topic. And furthermore, I think it's completely wrong and irrational to approach of materialistic things that should produce good outcomes, because these metrics are not actually what make us happy. These are the visible metrics. Same with if you have a certain amount of dollars on your bank account, you can translate them or transfer them into yen and pesos and euros easy, and it's visible from everyone in the room. Basically, if you have There are these places where they have actually like scan your debit card, and then you can see like your account balance. And yeah, like, okay, these are visible metrics, but how good is your sleep? How solid is your social circle? You know, how well do you communicate feelings? All this kind of stuff plays into it as well, and it's more important than these metrics that are actually like visible in society. So it doesn't tell you anything. Like if a person is rich, you could just guess, you know, how happy he actually or she actually is. You cannot really pursue happiness because it would mean that you hope that all circumstances adapt to your imagination, which will basically never happen. You will end up acting like a dog chasing its own tail. And we have to orient ourselves on structures of values we pursue, because only then can we make sense of the world and prioritize. Everything you do and neglect at the same time will eventually catch up to you. And that's just the reality of it. So we should try to pursue something that's meaningful and contains truth, I think. Robert Waldinger's long-term happiness study may have one of the biggest impact and significance ever, especially to me. It's still ongoing and has been renamed the Harvard Study of Adult Development. And it's one of the longest running studies on adult life and happiness ever. Waldinger, a psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, is the fourth director of the study, which began in 1938. And the study has been tracking the lives of two groups, men over 80 years, and it started with 724 participants, 268 Harvard sophomores and part of the Harvard group, and 456 boys from Boston's less privileged neighborhoods. And this was the Glück group. Some of them became bricklayers, lawyers, cashiers, construction workers, doctors, also Nobel Prize winners, and even presidents. So JFK was one of this test group as well. Today, there are roughly 3,000 active participants, and researchers collected a vast array of data on these men and women, including medical records, brain scans, blood samples, and surveys. They also conducted interviews with the men and their families to gain insights into their personal lives, careers, and health. And one thing became clear. The number one factor for a happy life are the social connections we form throughout our lives. You are 26% more likely to die a premature death if you feel lonely. And this number rises to 32% if you live alone permanently. Being an introvert doesn't really protect you from this statistic as well. You may be able to find happiness in solitude in the short term. However, the effects of a lack of friendship and family time and relationships just don't go unnoticed. So deep relationships with people are the be-all and end-all. Even when asked later in life, the biggest regrets were spending too much time at work and not with the people they loved. They were the proudest of the close connections they formed, of being a good spouse or boss or friend or sibling. And having someone to trust in your life serves as a stress and emotion regulator. And that's why men in a marriage tend to live 12 years longer and women 7 years longer than singles or partners. People living together in an intimate relationship find meaning in caring for their families and providing. And that's also why their cognitive decline slows down and they recover faster from surgery, simply because they have a reason to do so, to come back and to care, basically. And yeah, just a quick side note, doing just 15 minutes of exercise each day can extend your lifespan by up to 3 years and reduce your risk of dying early by 14%. So when it comes to bad habits, we should first explore what your number one vice is, and then maybe change it for just 15 minutes of workout time each day, because obviously you feel better as well. I mean, working out is like stressful in the moment and difficult, but the results speak for themselves, usually.